So at this point, I'm going to turn the program over to Lon Lester. Maybe not yet. I am going to talk to him next week about some job sharing ideas I got. So we'll see. This, maybe many of you will not recognize because this is our new logo. Our old logo used to have the famous, world famous Marlboro County Courthouse in it. This one incorporates the look of the new Bennettsville marketing logo and the bicentennial logo. So we're consistent with all of us with representing Bennettsville. I guess I should start by saying I am the very interim and very part-time director since Ken died in January. And I'd like to say since then, in the past 6 months, I have been very part-time, very overworked, and very underpaid. So this slide has the mission and vision of BDDA on it, and I'm just going to read the mission part because I'm further away than I thought I was going to be. The BDDA organization is dedicated to the development, growth, and preservation of Bennettsville's historic downtown area. And I meant to say in the beginning that you can hold your applause till the end, but please ask your questions as we go through the slides. This is a pretty simple idea, which is we need to maintain and preserve and grow our historic downtown. Just last month, we elected new officers for 2018-2019, and those officers are Lon Lester as chairman, Wes Parks as vice chairman, Bill Kinney as secretary. You're getting the idea here of Rotary being involved in what we're doing. Bobby Grooms is our treasurer, and Charles Midgley Sr. is our previous past chair. So I think the only person here who hasn't been president of Rotary is Bobby Grooms, and I think we should start working on that. In addition, I've listed the members and the ex officio, and I'm just going to quickly run down them. Gene Quick, Doris Frieden, myself, Karen Lewis, Dr. John May, who is an emeritus member, Woody Grant, Christy Overstreet, Dr. Carolyn Prince, Benji Rogers, and Scott Johnson. And we have one open that we haven't filled yet. So we are a Main Street America community and have been for quite a number of years. And they are an organization under the Municipal Association. And they have a director who is paid by the Municipal Association that supports the communities in South Carolina that are members. And that woman retired. I'm a little unclear as to when she retired, but her name was Becky LeGrand. She's made presentations here before, I'm sure. But she has been replaced by Jenny Boulware, who is from Conway, now lives in Columbia and has fully assumed those duties. She's the new state director. And I'm just going to read a couple lines out of this. One of them says, Main Street movement grew out of the recognition that a community is only as strong as its core. And over the last 4 decades of Main Street being around, it has proven that downtowns are the heart of our communities and that a community is only as strong as its core. And I'm going to diverge from my slide a little bit here, but I think that everyone in the room would recognize that two cities in the last, let's say, 5 to 7 years have made some strides toward becoming more alive. And that is Florence and Hartsville. And they came more alive by rebuilding their downtown. Not by adding a new mall further out, not by working on the bypass, but by really rebuilding and reinvigorating their downtowns. So even on just a local / regional scale, we can see that the concepts of this are true. And Hartsville, in that process, rejoined being a Main Street America city. They had previously been in and then fell away from it, but as they were starting to return to some better days, they rejoined and are an active participant. This is a list of the new businesses that either moved downtown or started downtown just this year. The A+ Auto Spa, R&S Pools, the Elite Health, which is the last building on West Main Street. Embrace Hospice is now on Liberty. Bennettsville Furniture and Mattress Store, which is a spin-off out of a store in Darlington. The Family and Teen Social Center, which is on Marlborough Street. Wallace Barbershop on Marlborough Street. The Webster Law Firm LLC, which is in Ronnie Crow's building. There's a new beauty shop going in down from Harry Easterling's law office in Charles Midgley's little building there. And the first week of August, we're going to have a new antique store at 137 Broad Street. And if you go in there, take all your cash and all your credit cards. Because otherwise you won't be able to afford anything that's going to be in there, as far as I can tell. Any question about any of those? Okay. One of the things that BDDA has done for a number of years is we have secured and replaced flags. If you just go outside this building and look to your right or your left or across the street, you'll see them. We display 158 flags on a regular basis. Most holidays we put them out. And that's done by the fire department. And our new fire chief believes that it's such a good look that he's left them up now since Memorial Day. And I think he's right. I think they really add to the look of the downtown. So between now and next year, we're going to work on, with the city, upping our game on flags. So taller, sturdier poles, a little bit bigger flag. Because all of those things lend to smaller people pulling them down, bending them, making them disappear. And in addition, the city is creating a new Bennettsville city flag. And our thought is that we will introduce some of those flags into what we display regularly, particularly since next year is the bicentennial year. I'm not sure if any of you in this room have gone through Bennettsville leadership. I don't see anybody raising their hand. One. I know Brittany has kind of ex officio gone through it in the last year because she's hosting their gathering when they go to places. But BDDA has been providing leadership training to adults and youth for a number of years and had over 100 graduates on the adult side and more than a couple hundred graduates on the junior leadership. And that will be continuing for 2018-2019. group of the people from 2016. The middle is a group for 2017, and the right was a picture of the junior leadership from 2016. Some of them you may or may not recognize. Those pictures are pretty small. I didn't realize how. I should have made you sit closer, I guess. Go ahead. So, one of the things about maintaining your downtown is how does it look? And these are 3 looks from the past. 1900, 1910, and 1930s. And Bennettsville has what I would call a charming small town downtown look. And Bill would tell you that that look hides or incorporates a huge amount of architectural features that if no one's ever showed them to you or you're not really paying attention, you wouldn't recognize. But if you end up taking a tour of the downtown sometime, led by Bill or a couple other people who are capable of doing that, you would find out that we have remarkable architecture. And we had a survey of architecture about 10 years ago, which said that we had the second most diverse architecture in South Carolina, second only to Charleston. And that includes not only our historic downtown, but a lot of historic homes of all sizes and shapes. The downtown 15 years ago had started to decay to a point where we applied for and helped the city obtain a facade grant where we upgraded buildings, upgraded signage, upgraded the sidewalks, repaved the streets, created a different parking scheme, made it more walkable, and those things are all still in place. The other thing that we were instrumental in was bringing the Bennettsville Lofts program here, which took 7 of our buildings that were not very well maintained in most cases, and stabilized them and brought them back to life, including having something downstairs and then creating upper story housing, which is still in place and full. So bringing more people to the community and more people in downtown. So when I came here in 1993, the courthouse was one of the most famous views. The second week I was here, looking at that view, you couldn't see the courthouse because there were so many TV trucks and booms elevated in the air because they had just found out that an unknown corpse from McCall was Michael Jordan's dad. I don't know if you guys, if any of you remember that, but that was a national big deal, and I mean, like, you literally couldn't see the courthouse down Broad Street. Luckily, that was the last time that happened, 25 years ago. The second shot is the current City Visitor Center. That building has undergone 2 transitions in the last 25 or 30 years, one from a private home to a bank or a savings and loan, and then from the savings and loan to the visitor center. And currently going to be undergoing some repair and facelift. Some of the things that BDDA has done, continuing from the original facade work, is that we still offer grants to the either building owner or the business owners if they want to upgrade the outside of their buildings. I think one of the best things that we did in recent years was the building on the right, which is owned by Tommy Parker, but we convinced him to put back the original signage over the top of this building and maintain the historical look. So that was a public-private venture that I think really improved. Some of the others that are even more recent, Marlboro Drug had part of their cornice of the top of their building fall off, and we provided a grant to assist them in getting that repaired. Bennettsville Loft's office has a brand new awning that was just put up in the last couple of months, and we supplied half of the money for that. And Gibson Moore, their what I'll call second building to the left of their main entrance, also put a brand new awning. We continue to do that. Even today, I was working with somebody to pick out the color of a new couple of awnings that are going to go up downtown. So there's still a lot of that that needs to be done, and particularly since we're going to celebrate our bicentennial. So we're trying to step up our activity level and get the rest of the buildings that need a little sprucing up done. The events, over the course of the last 30 years, we have done a lot of things which may or may not have met our core program. I think they all enhanced what was going on in Bennettsville. We've done grand openings, we've done Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween. You know, we've supported after hours programs, and I think all of that has added to the life of downtown. But with my limited days and hours, we're currently not engaged in very much of that. And I'm glad to see that the Chamber and the new Tourism and Parks division of the city is picking up those kind of things. These are just a couple more pictures of Christmas and Halloween. I've already talked about grand openings, decorations, and we do on occasion coordinate with the downtown retail to have special sale days around Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Christmas, etc. So, just last week I put out a newsletter, which many of you I know have in your inbox, or maybe have already read it. But we decided to feature Floyd's Jewelers. And if you haven't ever shopped there, you should. They are the epitome of customer service. They are professional. They are polite. They are helpful. It's a man and wife. It's a man and wife who have run that business for 20 years in that spot, and at times included family members, full-time employees, and even now they still have three part-time employees. They've also decorated the outside of the building for that entire period with flowers and other things, and really have been the anchor of the retail business in Bennettsville for 20 years. The one thing that I highlighted in red there about halfway down says that when the recession of 2007 and 2008 hit, that created hard times for them. And they were starting to make a turnaround, and then Walmart came to town. And their business got a lot better. And I said to Barry, I said, can you explain that? And he goes, sure. They don't sell the same quality that I do, and they don't service anything. And when they do service things, they do it wrong, so it ends up in my shop no matter what. And his theory is similar to what I've heard other people say, which is when people stop going to Laurinburg to go to Walmart, they shopped more in Bennettsville. Gibson Moore has had her best 4 years of being here for 20 years. And even the hardware store will tell you that their business improved when Walmart came. Because it kept people from going to Walmart and Lowe's. So nobody's going to drive all the way to Lowe's to buy a bag of screws for $2. But if you're already there, you might do it. So kind of a strange phenomenon which most small towns may not have happened to them. That it really has brought more retail business than killing retail business. And the last one is kind of back to the first. That's the courthouse, of course. And I would take any questions from anybody about any slide or any other downtown question.
What about Popeyes?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago or whenever it was, I was driving down this street going to the office, and I got stopped by the stoplight, and I looked to my right, and there's a guy in the window putting up a sign that says "Store Closing Sale." So I made a right turn and went around the block and parked right in front of it, and it was about 9 o'clock or 5 after 9. And so I went to the door thinking I was going to have to pound on the door to get in, but it was open. So I walked in, and there's a woman hanging for sale things around. So, and it wasn't Tracy. So I stopped to talk to her, and I said, "So is this just a sale to reduce inventory, or are you really closing? Because, you know, we have the guy over on Broad Street that's been going out of business for 15 years. And she said, "No, we're closing." And I said, "Are you the manager or owner or whatever?" And she said, "You'd have to talk to my husband," and that was the guy in the window. So I asked him what the deal was, and he said that this was their largest store. They own 13 highlight stores. They've been in business for 20-some years. And they weren't making as much money as they wanted to in this store. Not that they were losing money, but they weren't making as much money. And I said, "So what stores do better?" And he said, "Dillon does better, and Laurinburg," which are, you know, right next to us. And I said, "They sell more than here?" And he says, "No, they make a higher percentage of return." But he's comparing a store that is literally 3 times as big as the Laurinburg store. And I don't know if you've shopped in there, but that store is always full of merchandise. So his cost of inventory for this store has to be 3 times what it is of the other stores, which are, you know, even though Laurinburg's twice as big population-wise as we are, his sales in Laurinburg are less than they are here. But they're greater on a percentage basis versus the size of the store and the amount of inventory. And I said, "Well, I have some other buildings I can show you that beat your model." And he goes, "Nope, we decided to close." So they were applying a model from 12 other stores to this store, which didn't fit their model. It's 3 times as big, the rent is higher, the utilities were 3 times as much, because even though he didn't use all the store, he didn't build a complete wall to wall off the use for HVAC. So the back room, which is over 1/3 of his store, was always being heated and cooled just the same as the shopping area. So to me, it was a bad operational model. He was still making money, but not what he wanted to. And that's why they left. I'm trying to encourage Tracy, who knows everybody, to stay in town and do something else, because she's another valuable customer service person like yourself who really knows her customers and does a great job of serving. But in my opinion, it's just he had made up his mind, and nothing was going to get him to consider an alternate other than just flat out closing.
different businesses to come in. I know you want to revamp the downtown, but I mean, the type of business, I go to Florence a good bit, but the types of business that come in there to kind of pick up are like nightlife type things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have bars, they have restaurants, a brewery.
So Charles Paul will tell you that we have talked to people about that kind of investment, and we have some people who are even interested in that, but no one who is committed to do that yet. The other thing is, the last thing that was on my slide of new businesses is an antique store that's going to open in August, and then that will give us like 5 antique stores, which if you read about retail shopping, more than 3 stores selling a similar item in a close proximity creates a cluster, and a cluster creates a destination. So, so I'm trying to add another antique operation on Broad Street to create a bigger cluster. And we just had a restaurant close on Broad Street, and I'm talking to somebody about going in and quickly reopening that, because we have a lot of people who travel to someplace further east, and a lot of them travel right down Broad Street, but they don't stop.
Is antiquing a big thing?
Antiquing is a huge thing.
I guess you're looking at different demographics though, right? I mean,
Because you mentioned yourself about taking money, taking credit cards.
Right.
And I'm looking at it from your standpoint. What is the plan to get businesses where we go there and spend an evening in Bennettsville downtown rather than town hall and Florence? So
Right.
can you get that?
Right.
And I know that's not on you, I just.
Right, no. So restaurants are on the top of the list, and specialty stores are on the top of the list. If you look at Hartsville, they adopted a model which was they weren't going to try and work on the extremities of their city at all. They were only going to focus on what they could deal with, which was the downtown. And they have attracted some very specialized people there. And they're making their go at it. Now, they have an advantage with the Coker University being there. So they have people who are there who have money to spend and time to do it, in addition to the people that live there. And they're creating a destination. Just last week they announced they're putting a brewery there. So you have to, I think you have to focus on something to get started. And then when you attract enough people, then you can get some of these other specialty things that can fill the rest of the storefronts. We have too many service businesses in our beautiful storefronts. Too many finance places, too many beauty shops, you know, places that don't create traffic. So, yeah.
What's the number of dwellings that you added? Because I mean, a lot of that's foot traffic.
22.
Okay.
There's 22 apartments in the upper story, and
That's one home, 22, that's 22.
yeah, Bennettsville lost. There are other,
34.
since they did that, other people have added more upper story. I don't know, I'm sure it's over 30, 34. Yeah, so there's 34 people who live above the downtown, and we have a lot of buildings that, in my opinion, should have more upper story, because you can tell by just looking at the windows that there's nothing up there. You know? Yeah.
Did you notice that there's advertising on this building that we were
Yeah. Yeah. There's no. I should have updated my slide, but we have another new business just down in the next block called Greek Life. Greek Attire. So it's at 104 East Main. They just did their windows in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, I guess.
What is it?
They're selling fraternity and sorority apparel. Free apparel. And mugs and stuff. Yeah.
When you walk through the downtown, parking really seems to be an issue for retail type of operation.
Right.
You look at the amount of square footage and then you know, apply a standard to that footage.
Right.
There is a tremendous deficit. How do you see that ever resolving itself?
So, I've talked to the new director and asked for a resource to study our downtown parking. Because I personally feel like we're going to have to give up some of our buildings to create parking space and to create access for parking that exists behind those buildings. I've contacted the people who own the bingo place because they have parking. They live in Greenville and they have no desire to manage another tenant in their 22,000 square foot building. So they now have a little part-time Pops Bingo thing going on 3 or 4 nights a week. And the last tenant they had was Moe's Chicken. And he didn't pay his rent. And then when he left, he tore up the entire area that he was in. So they're not willing to even consider having a restaurant go in, and they're not willing to put any money in to subdivide and make any secure space less than 10,000 square foot, because that's what it is now. So, you know, even places where we have parking, absentee owners don't necessarily want to. So I think we have to encourage more of us to own more downtown.
How do you slow down some confusing up this business person? You've got highlights that's turn volume, but cannot make a decent enough profit. The man operating 13 stores, he ain't closing them down because it's successful. I mean, it's not the way I operate a business.
Right, but
So
he did close down a store that was making money.
Well, I
He told me that.
making money would also be relative to the expense and time and labor that you're putting somebody in. My question there is, he's talking about it because, in your words, where it's, you know, more for the power, it's more for the taxes, it's more for everything to be right here in this town, and then, you know.
Only because
I'm not downtown.
Only because he selected a large building.
Downtown myself for trying to get Summerfest, things like that. I feel like we're a community at large that needs our downtown to be successful, that needs our community, you know, the outskirts to be successful. I don't know, I'm not that good at math, I don't see how you can get someone to come here. You know, so what, do you give somebody a grant that's good for X amount of time? They can get in there and get started, but if you're not turning it, and our income source is not so that it can support those types of businesses. I mean, I just.
So we're not giving grants to people that come here. The city doesn't give a grant for that. BDDA doesn't give a grant for that. We try to help them make their building look better, and we try to help them put up a great looking sign when they come here. But we don't subsidize operations for anybody. So the only place that I know that does that is Lake City, and that's because Darla Moore gave them so many millions of dollars that they can afford to give away $50,000 a year to 2 businesses that will come to Lake City. So you're right. We're going to have to work harder because we don't have the same resources as some of the other places. But we do have one thing that they don't have, and that's beach traffic. So if we don't have a way to stop them because we don't have a bathroom and we don't have a restaurant and we don't have parking, then they're going to some of those issues, and we can capture some of that traffic. Any other questions